Okay, we're having a meltdown in Mexico. Their most wanted drug dealer or leader killed in the military operation. That's a Mexican military operation. Caused violent clashes to erupt across the country. So they're telling Americans that are over there to, shelter in place. It's a red alert. That's a Costco you seen burning there. More to come. Yeah, so here's more footage. You can see people fleeing from the airport. It's getting crazy, crazy. Today has been one wild day, man. Starting at 1 p.m. this morning. That kid from North Carolina, man, he just did not look like who I thought. I mean, he kind of looked like he had some sense. Democrats are going to have to start taking responsibility for their rhetoric. So, red alert, shelter in place. Be careful, Americans over there. Here we go again. Just seems like the world's falling apart on it. Somebody's going to be the proud recipient of $15 million. The Mexican army has killed the drug lord known as El Mencho, delivering a significant blow to what had become Mexico's most powerful cartel. I guess these people are in Mexico. Let's look at their video.
No, las casas de ellos se deben de retirar. Con una edad, ¿verdad? Sí, ese vale no sabe nada.
¿Cuál?
Is not just a crime problem. It's a national security disaster. As of 2024, cartels effectively control 30 to 40% of Mexico's territory, with some regions operating completely outside the government's influence. And the violence is staggering. Over 30,000 murders per year since 2017, and over 110,000 people officially reported as missing. Many more are likely to be buried in mass graves. Drug trafficking, human smuggling, extortion, and cartel wars have turned Mexico into one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Generation Cartel, or CJNG, which has been rising rapidly in the past decade. It's known for its extreme violence and ruthless tactics. In Mexico, drug cartel violence has escalated to unimaginable levels, with over 400,000 people killed since the government began cracking down on organized crime in 2006. Entire communities have been torn apart, and many civilians have found themselves caught in the crime. They operate more like shadow governments. Each cartel rules over specific territories with a level of control and influence that can rival the state itself. These criminal empires have divided the country into regions where they specialize in everything from drug production to extortion, human trafficking, and even fuel theft. The Sinaloa cartel is one of the most powerful and well-known organizations in the world, and its reach stretches across Mexico and beyond. Based primarily in known to demand protection money from farmers, often using violent means to enforce their demands. In addition to extortion, these groups are heavily involved in the production of methamphetamine, with many of the rural areas of Michoacán serving as clandestine labs for the drug. The violence and extortion that plague the region have made life increasingly difficult for local residents. Like cartels are stepping up where the state has failed, life under their rule is far from benevolent. It is a nightmare of fear, coercion, and brutality. One of the most insidious ways cartels maintain control is through extortion, demanding piso, or protection money, from anyone trying to operate a business. This practice isn't just limited to major corporations. Street vendors, small farmers, and even local shops are forced to pay up. In the state of Michoacán, for example, the avocado farmers must hand over up to $1,000 per hectare each year. If they fail to comply, the consequences can be fatal. The cartels have a simple yet brutal message: pay the tax or face retribution. In regions where these cartels have established dominance, under cartel rule, life becomes a daily struggle for survival. People who live in these territories often face an impossible choice: comply or be punished. The cartels, in many ways, create a system where they are both the oppressors and the providers, making it nearly impossible for residents to break free from their control.
It kind of sounds like how the Democrats want us to live.
Yep.
As citizens.
Yep.
Yeah. Not.
Fear of violence, the threat of death, and the constant extortion leave people with little hope of escape. The government's inability or unwillingness to challenge these cartels only strengthens their grip on power, and the cycle of violence continues unabated. Mexican cartels have evolved far beyond the stereotypical image of street gangs. Military-grade tactics both cartels now employ. Gone are the days when cartels relied solely on street-level operations or corrupt officials to carry out their work. These cartels have become sophisticated and heavily armed, adopting the same kinds of weapons and strategies you'd expect from a national army. One of the most terrifying elements of cartel warfare is the use of armored vehicles, known in English as narco tanks or monstruos in Spanish. Alliances with other cartels, wage territorial battles, and use their influence to sway local governments and law enforcement. For the people living in these areas, the government's inability to maintain order only strengthens the cartel's hold. In some ways, the cartels are beginning to mirror the military forces of a rogue state. They have the manpower, the weaponry, and the will to fight against any opposition, including the Mexican government. Numerous efforts from the government and international partners, these criminal organizations continue to grow stronger, leaving communities in terror. The question on everyone's mind is, why hasn't the government been able to stop them? The answer lies in a combination of systematic corruption, failed strategies, and external forces that contribute to the cartel's unchecked power. Cartel operations, but these measurements often feel like putting a band-aid on a much larger problem. While billions are funneled into these initiatives, the cartels remain one step ahead, finding new ways to produce and smuggle drugs into the US. The cyclical nature of the drug trade makes it difficult to break the supply chain. New players quickly step in to replace the old ones, and the violence continues to escalate. The human cost of Mexico's drug war is staggering. Over 500 mass graves have been discovered across the country, offering a chilling reminder of the brutality with which cartels deal with those who cross them.
So with that being said, it's kind of like crazy how they do. There was a bust they did last week actually here in Florida, and it pretty much covered everywhere from Jacksonville to Naples to Miami. I mean, it was all over Lakeland. But their main guy had dug a tunnel under in his house all the way to some other place where he had all this stuff stored, and you know, miles and miles. So, and you always hear about tunnels and them digging tunnels. Man, they're pretty ruthless. I don't know. It's definitely going to come to a bad end. But, you know, there has to be a little A little bit of fight before things get better. Just like if you're a Christian, you know there's no victories without trials. So sometimes we got to stand and fight. So here we are.